जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजना यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय विश्वगुरु श्रील प्रभुपदा विश्वगुरु श्रील प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 Jai Vishnupat Paramahansa Parivrajakaacharya Stottarishata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Vishwaguru A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupat Paramahansa Parivrajakaacharya Stottarishata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा की जय। श्री श्री गौरनिताय की जय। विश्वगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 27, Understanding Material Nature, verse number 7. Sarva Bhuta Samatvena Sarva Bhuta Samatvena Sarva Bhuta Samatvena Nirvairena Aprasangataha Nirvairena Prasangataha Nirvairena Prasangataha Brahmacharyena Maunena Brahmacharyena Maunena Brahmacharyena Maunena Swa Dharmena Baliyasa Swadharmena Baliyasa Swadharmena Baliyasa Sarvabhuta Samatvena Nirvairena Prasangataha Brahmacharyena Maunena Sadharmena Baliyasa Sarvabhuta Samatvena Nirvairena Prasangataha Brahmacharyena Maunena Swadharmena Baliyasa.
सर्वभूत समत्वेन निर्वैरेण प्रसंगतः ब्रह्मचर्येण मौनेन स्वधर्मेण बलीयसा
सर्वभूत निर्वैरेण प्रसंगतः ब्रह्मचर्येण मौनेन स्वधर्मेण बलीयसा.
Sarva, all, Bhuta, living entities, Samatvena, by seeing equally, Nirvairena, without enmity, Aprasangataha, without intimate connections, Brahmacharyena, by celibacy, Maunena, by silence, Swadharmena, by one's occupation, Baliyasa, by offering the result. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Translation. In executing devotional service, one has to see every living entity equally, without enmity towards anyone, yet without intimate connections with anyone. One has to observe celibacy, be grave, and execute his eternal activities, offering the results to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kindly repeat. In executing devotional service, one has to see every living entity equally, without enmity towards anyone, yet without intimate connections with anyone. One has to observe celibacy, be grave, and execute his eternal activities, offering the results to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who seriously engages in devotional service is equal to all living entities. There are various species of living entities, but a devotee does not see the outward covering. He sees the inner soul inhabiting the body. Because each and every soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he does not see any difference. That is the vision of a learned devotee. As explained in Bhagavad Gita, a devotee or a learned sage does not see any difference between a learned Brahmana, a dog, an elephant, or a cow, because he knows that the body is the outer covering only, and that the soul is actually part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. A devotee has no enmity towards any living entity, but that does not mean that he mixes with everyone. That is prohibited. Aprasangataha means not to be in intimate touch with everyone. A devotee is concerned with his execution of devotional service, and he should therefore mix with devotees only in order to advance his objective. He has no business mixing with others, for although he does not see anyone as his enemy, his dealings are only with persons who engage in devotional service. A devotee should observe the vow of celibacy. Celibacy does not necessitate that one be absolutely free from sex life. Satisfaction with one's wife is permitted also under the vow of celibacy. The best policy is to avoid sex life altogether. That is preferable. Otherwise, a devotee can get married under religious principles and live peacefully with a wife. A devotee should not speak needlessly. A serious devotee has no time to speak of nonsense. He is always busy in Krishna consciousness. Whenever he speaks about Krishna. Mauna means silence. Silence does not mean that one should not speak at all, but that he should not speak of nonsense. He should be very enthusiastic in speaking about Krishna. Another important item described here is swadharmena, or being exclusively occupied in one's eternal occupation, which is to act as the eternal servitor of the Lord, or to act in Krishna consciousness. The next word, baliyasa, means offering the results of all activities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee does not act on his personal account for sense gratification. Whatever he earns, whatever he eats, and whatever he does, he offers for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namavo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणम्. When I was rendering services in Vrindavan, this was between 2005 and 2018, 13 years. By Radharani's Kripa, by Prabhupada's Kripa, I had an opportunity to do services in Vrindavan. So during that time in 2005, when we started, we had a small portion of land on that Bhaktivedanta Swami Marg. At that time it was called Chettikara Road, and it was a small 2-lane road. Currently it has become a wide 4-lane road. And there used to be no street lights. People used to be afraid of going there after 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, after the sun has set. Those days, there was a small building. We used to feed about 200, 300 children. Akshay Patra was operating out a small building shed in the front. And we devotees, we used to stay in Keshav Kunj, which is opposite Krishna Balaram temple. Every day in the morning for Mangalarti, for our sadhana, we'd go to Krishna Balaram temple. And then by around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, we'd go to our campus to oversee the cooking and other activities. Some construction activity was also going on. Gradually, of course, at that time, Vyompad Prabhu was there. He was the person who actually started everything there and commenced the operations there and all that. And there was the dome and torus. It was still not inhabitable. Just the shell was there. Internally, nothing was finished. So by 2006, we finished all that and completely got it ready and scaled up the kitchen, started feeding 30,000 children. And then we built the Vrindavan Chandra Mandir, then that within that torus. And associated with that, we also built that ashram and guest house and all that. And then gradually, as the operation scaled, as you all know, we follow Prabhupada's system of independent entities registered everywhere. Prabhupada never wanted a centralized system. Of course, the other group, in India, they have centralized. Everything is under Bombay. But ours, our group, we follow Prabhupada's instructions. 1972, Karandara's letter, that everything should be decentralized. So we had independent entities in Vrindavan also. And naturally, as we are growing, we are expanding, things are improving. We started improving our accounting practices, financial practices, governing practices. These things slowly develop as the organization grows. So one point of time, we had acquired enough land to start a project and all that. We felt that we should develop more good practices. So we thought, let us start a practice of publishing a financial report internally, and which we can share with our donors, stakeholders, wherever required. And it will also give us a good view of what is going on. So at that time, I thought, let us see some financial reports from some similar organizations, which will give us some idea about how to go about this and what are the good practices everybody is doing. So we can also absorb some of them. So I looked for some organizations, NGOs, religious organizations, and went through their financial reports to get some idea. One of them was a prominent institute, prominent religious organization within Vrindavan. They run a hospital, very famous. A lot of people go there. Good work they are doing. Many sadhus also go there. Sadhus, if they go, they don't charge anything. Brajavasis, if they go, they charge some give good treatment. treatment. Good facility, famous since many years they are going on. So I thought good to get their financial report also. I got their financial report also, and I was going through that, trying to see if there are any good ways of presentation of our financial report which we can pick up and all that. So they had many things. They had many activities. They had listed down all their activities and their photographs and all that. In one section, I came across one photograph of their hospital. One hospital bed is there, and of course, the multiple hospital beds are there, but this photograph was focusing upon one person, and he was sitting on the hospital bed upright, and on both sides there were other beds on which people were lying. So this man is sitting upright in his bed. Obviously, he is a patient. And then at the foot of the bed, one sadhu, one sannyasi in saffron dress, he is standing with a bell in his hand and he is doing one aarti. This is the photograph. And the title read, Rogi Narayan Puja. So, equal vision. We see everybody equal. We see everyone as Narayana. That's the concept being presented. So actually, if you see, seeing everyone as Narayana, just because the Shastras state that one should see every living entity equally, like Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport here. Prabhupada is quoting the famous verse that Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Shopake Cha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Panditaha, truly learned people, Samadarshinaha, they have an equal vision. What is that equal vision? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane. For a Brahmana who is Vidya Vinaya Sampanna, who is endowed with both humility and scriptural knowledge. That's a real Brahmana, not simply by birth. You have to be well-read, well-versed in the scriptures and the Shastras, and that study of the scriptures should have developed in you the quality of being humble, and that is a real Brahmana. So a real Brahmana who is well-versed in the scriptures and who is very humble, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane, and Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini. Gavi means a cow, Hastini means an elephant, Shuni, a dog, Shwapake, one who is a dog eater. In the Vedic tradition, one who eats dog's meat is considered the lowest in the society. A meat eater anyway is considered a very abominable life to be eating meat. Out of that, somebody who is eating dog's meat is considered very, very abominable from a spiritual perspective. Materially, they may be treated differently, but in spiritual perspective, they are to be considered very degraded in their spiritual consciousness, in their spiritual advancement. So all such people, Panditaha Samadarshanaha, a really learned person, he will see all of them equally. He will not differentiate, oh, this Brahmana is there, he's a great person, this is a dog, this is an abominable living entity, oh, this is a cow, we have to worship it, and an elephant, we have to make it an animal of burden, and there is somebody who is a dog eater, oh, treat him very despicably. No, a Pandita will treat all of them equally. So therefore, when somebody looks at another person, one interpretation that people give is, you should see everyone, whether it is the Brahmana, whether it is the cow, dog, whoever it is, all of them are Narayana. And so Daridra is also Narayana, Rogi is also Narayana, somebody is madman, he is also Narayana. Mad Narayana, Daridra Narayana, Rogi Narayana, all kinds, everybody is Narayana. But this kind of equal vision is not a real equal vision. It is a warped sense of equal vision. It's not real equal vision. Samatha, or the ability to see everything equally, Sarva Bhuta Samatvena, that's what is being mentioned in today's words. Sarva Bhuta Samatvena, to be able to see every living entity equally, does not mean to see every living entity as Paramatma. Which is explained, although Krishna said that one has to see learned and humble Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog and a dog eater, all of them equally. How to see all of them equally? That is more elaborately described by Krishna in the 13th chapter, 28th verse of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashyat swanu avinishyantam yah pashyati sa pashyati. Shri Krishna Rukmini Satyabhama ki jai. So Krishna says in this 28th verse of the 13th chapter, one who sees the super soul, Paramatma, Sarveshu Bhuteshu Tishtantam Parameshwaram, one who sees the super soul or Paramatma accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul is ever destroyed, actually sees. So what is the vision of a real learned person? That Vinashyatsu, within this body which is destructible, Avinashyantam, there is a soul which is indestructible, which already Krishna has explained in the 2nd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Na shoshayati, na all those kind of things. The soul cannot be dried, it cannot be wetted, it cannot be cut by sword, it cannot be burnt by fire, etc., etc., etc. Which means that the soul is indestructible. And Krishna also said that within the destructible body, there is the indestructible soul. So, the one who is able to see Vinashyatsu, within the destructible body, Avinashyantam, the indestructible soul. Within the destructible body, there is the indestructible soul. And not only that, Sarveshu Bhuteshu Tishtantam Parameshwaram, one who is able to see also the Parameshwara or the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul, who is also within the heart of each and every living entity. One who is able to see these three things. There is the destructible body, there is the indestructible soul, and there is the Paramatma who is there in each and every living entity. Such a person is actually a seer who is seeing equally. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu. So, in today's verse, when it is stated that sarvabhuta samatvena, that a spiritually advanced person who is practicing devotional service, samatvena sarvabhuta, who has to see every living entity equally, means he does not equate every living entity with Paramatma. On the other hand, whenever he sees any living entity, he sees the destructible body, within the destructible body, the indestructible soul, and along with the indestructible soul, the Paramatma accompanying. This is real equal vision. So, for a devotee, it is not enough to develop just this vision. To develop this vision, how to develop this vision? That Prabhupada says that one has to develop this vision by association. If by associating with people who have developed that vision of Sarvabhuta Samatvena, to be able to see these three things separately, then we will also develop that vision. So in other words, we have to associate with pure devotees. Without association with pure devotees, we cannot develop this vision of seeing everybody equally. We have many, many political movements. We have communism, we have socialism, all of which want to make a classless society. Everybody is equal. But even in such communist countries, is everybody treated equally? No. Somebody becomes the dictator, somebody becomes the manager, somebody becomes some big business magnate, and somebody remains poor. So, nobody is equal. There is differentiation even in such political theories, such political isms. So, you can invent any kind of material vision, you can never treat everyone equally. The only way to have a truly classless society where everybody is treated equally is to follow the path of Krishna consciousness. When we follow the path of Bhakti Yoga, when we follow the path of Krishna consciousness, we develop this equal vision. Because it's only a pure devotee of Krishna who possesses that equal vision. So, nirvairena aprasangataha. one has to nirvairena, without enmity. One should not think, oh, this is my enemy, this is my friend. Such kind of duality, one has to become free. And aprasangataha, at the same time, one should not develop intimate association with anybody and everybody indiscriminately. Nirvairena, not having enmity, does not necessarily mean that you have to be a very intense friend of someone. You can be neutral also. So, aprasangataha is very important, that we have to choose our association very carefully. We should not be indiscriminate in choosing our association. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his teachings has mentioned about 64 principles of devotional service. So, these 64 principles of devotional service are described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the nectar of devotion. After describing these 64 principles of devotional service, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed that out of these 64 devotional principles, 5 principles are extremely important because they are very, very powerful. Duruhadbhuta virye asmin durestu panchake. These 5 principles of devotional service, Duruhadbhuta virya, they have Duruha Adbhuta virya, inconceivable power to develop pure devotion in somebody's heart, to generate love for Krishna. There are 5 principles. What are those 5 principles? The 5 principles Chaitanya Mahaprabhu states, which is described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So, there are 3 beautiful verses which describe these 5 principles. The first one is Shraddha Visheshatah Pritihi Shri Murter Angri Sevane. To render devotional service to the deity of Krishna with great faith and love. Shraddha Visheshatah Pritihi. Shraddha with great faith, conviction that when we come to the temple, we see the deity of Krishna, that yes, Krishna is personally standing here. It's not some idol or statue made out of metal or stone or wood or something like that. Krishna is personally standing here. That conviction one has to have. And Visheshatah Pritihi. Lovingly, we should render service. Sri Murter Angri Sevane. Of the Sri Murti, serving the lotus feet of the deity. That means nicely decorating the deity, offering nice foodstuffs, doing Sankirtan before the deity, and all our activities, whatever we do, we center it around the deities. So this is Shraddha Visheshatah Pritihi Sri Murter Angri Sevane. This is the first principle. Next, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu states, Srimad-Bhagavatarthanam aswado rasikaihi saha. Srimad-Bhagavatarthanam aswado. To relish the meaning, the essence of the Srimad-Bhagavatam in the association of devotees. Rasikaihi saha. Those who are devotees of Krishna, with them we hear about the pastimes from the Srimad-Bhagavatam. And then Sajati Asaye Snigdhe Sadhau Sangaha Swato Vare. Meaning, this is the third principle. What is the third principle? Sajati Asaye Snigdhe Sadhau Swato Vare. To associate with devotees who are like-minded and who are more advanced than oneself. This is the third principle. The fourth principle is Nama Sankirtanam, to engage in Nama Sankirtana, to engage in chanting the holy name of Krishna individually as well as in congregation. So Nama Sankirtanam. That's the fourth principle. And the fifth one is that one should Mathura Mandale, Sriman Mathura Mandale Sthitihi. One should make the holy place like Mathura as one's place of residence. So when we speak of a holy place, to make a holy place as one's place of residence, It refers not only to places of pilgrimage like Mathura, Vrindavan, Mayapur, etc. It also refers to wherever there is a temple of Krishna. So to live in the temple of Krishna is as good as living in a holy place of pilgrimage. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that these 5 principles are most important out of all the 64 principles of devotional service. So when we look at these 5 principles, most of them are very clear, whether it is rendering service to the deities, or hearing the Srimad-Bhagavatam, or it is staying in a place of pilgrimage. If one is staying in one's house, we have deities of Gaur-Nitai and we worship them. So your house also becomes a place of pilgrimage. So in this way, we reside in a holy place. And so all these things are quite clear. Now, the most important aspect out of these 5 principles, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has enunciated, he says, Sajati ashaye snigdhe sadau sangha swato vare. Hearing the Srimad-Bhagavatarthanam aswado rasikaihi saha. Even though we may hear the Srimad-Bhagavatam, so rasikaihi saha means, first thing is one has to hear from those who are devotees. One should not hear Bhagavatam from some professional reciters. So there are people who recite Bhagavad Katha for a fee. You ask them, they will charge a fee and they will come and they will do Bhagavad Saptaha and then they will go away. They will have their private life, they will be living there, they will have their sources of income, they will have their house, family, etc. And they will be living a lavish life. So, hearing from such professional reciters may be very entertaining, but for spiritual life, that is not advisable, it is not favorable. One must hear from Rasikaihi Saha, from actual devotees of Krishna. That means we have to hear from pure devotees. Like we hear from Srila Prabhupada. We read every day from the Bhagavatam, we hear from Prabhupada. We don't hear from anybody else. And associated with that, one more thing. Sajati ashaye. One has to associate with devotees. One has to hear that Bhagavatam also from a pure devotee in the association of Sajati ashaye. Those who have similar kind of inclination. So, when we have to hear from when we have to associate with devotees of similar kind of inclination, and we have to hear the Bhagavatam in their association, Prabhupada explains that such hearing of Bhagavatam is of 2 kinds. One is to hear from a pure devotee directly. We hear from Prabhupada. Another is to hear from devotees who have implicit faith in the spiritual master. Yasya deve parabhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau. One who has as much faith in Guru, as much as faith he has in Krishna, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, if we have unflinching, implicit faith in Krishna, then when Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja, give up everything else, all other duties, and surrender only unto me, when Krishna says, we don't question. We don't question Krishna. Krishna, in all the previous chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, in the previous 18 chapters, you are going on telling, do your dharma, you have to engage in karma yoga, you spoke about jnana yoga, you spoke about ashtanga yoga, everywhere you are telling, do your duty, do your duty. Now you are telling, give up all your duty, and suddenly you are saying, surrender completely, exclusively unto me. How can I do this? This is very confusing. You have said so many things, now you are saying something else. In one lecture, when Prabhupada was giving one lecture, during the question answer session, one person asked Prabhupada this, that in 2 other places in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Swakarma, you have to do your duty, means according to the Varnashrama Dharma in the Vedic system, you have to do your duty. But only in one place, at the end, Krishna said, Sarva Dharman Paritejya. So 2 is important or 1 is important? 2 times Krishna has said you have to perform your duty. So it's better to perform one's duty rather than surrendering unto Krishna, isn't it? So Prabhupada replied that Krishna might have said only once that you have to surrender exclusively unto me. but that is a direct order. When he was speaking the earlier, Swakarmana, Tamabhyarcha and all those kind of things, he was speaking of philosophy. But when it came to what I should do, now tell me, Krishna said, Sarva Dharman Parityaja. Then it is your duty to follow that order. You cannot ask questions. Oh Krishna, you said so many things in so many other verses. Now you are telling me to surrender. How can I do it? No. Direct order you have to follow. And so when that direct order comes, you cannot question, oh, you said so many things. Now you are telling me to do like this. Then that means your faith is not strong. Para Bhakti means you have firm conviction. Whatever Krishna is ordering, I will carry it out. And second thing is, when Krishna says Sarva Dharman Parityaja, we don't run around. Oh, what does Shastra state? There are so many Upanishads, there are Vedas, there are Puranas, there are Karmakanda portion, there are Jnanakanda portion, there is Upasana Kanda portion. There are so many other things are stated in Shastra. Nowhere in Shastra it states that we have to surrender only to Krishna. Only Krishna is saying surrender unto me exclusively. Mam ekam charanam raja. So if we look at all Shastra, this we cannot follow this. No. Krishna has said means forget all other Shastra. We have to follow him. That's it. Para Bhakti. So just as we have unflinching faith in the words of Krishna. Krishna has said means it is final. Yasya deve parabhakti. That is called parabhakti. Now, yasya deve parabhakti tatha gurau. Similar parabhakti one has to have in the Guru. So one who has similar parabhakti in the Guru, one can hear Srimad-Bhagavatam from him. Not from somebody. Somebody may accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He may accept Krishna's words, Krishna's instructions, but he doesn't have conviction, as much conviction in the instructions of the Guru. Then we should not hear from such a person. So, Srimad-Bhagavatarthanam aswado rasikaihi saha sajati asaye snigde sadau swato vare. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving these two principles, we have to understand that we have to hear the Bhagavatam also in the association of similarly inclined devotees who have as much faith in the Guru, as much faith that they have in Krishna. So when, naturally, many times we come across some devotees having this quandary, having this confusion, that if you look at the other group, other ISKCON, they are also having nice speakers, they also give nice classes on Bhagavatam. So they are speaking philosophy only. What is wrong in hearing them? Okay, on Guru issue we may differ, that we accept Prabhupada's order as supreme and therefore we have to follow the direct order of Prabhupada. We cannot disobey. That's our stand. Their stand is that no, we have to look at Shastra, we have to verify Prabhupada's statements according to his other instructions in his books, etc. So therefore we cannot obey Prabhupada's July 9th order. They may say all these things. Okay, that's a different matter. But if they are purely speaking on Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, why we cannot hear from them? It's all philosophy only. It's all about Krishna only. No, we cannot hear from them because Prabhupada is saying, Sajati Ashaye means we have to hear from people who have firm conviction in the Guru's words, implicit faith in the Guru's words. So if somebody is saying he has a doubt whether to follow Prabhupada's direct order or not, then from such a person you should not hear Bhagavatam. You cannot hear. That's an injunction Prabhupada himself has given. So if somebody says that no, Prabhupada is saying in the July 9th order that you have to have a Ritvik system of initiations, so we have to verify it against Shastra. Only if you give Shastric Pramana I can follow this, otherwise I cannot follow this. Then where is unflinching faith in the instructions of the Guru? If you ask a question, where in tradition, is there any other reference in tradition for following this instruction of Prabhupada? That means Parabhakti in Guru's words is not there. So, if you have to hear also, you have to hear from Sajati Ashaye Snigdhe Sadhau Swato Vare. Those who have unflinching faith in Prabhupada, that he is the Diksha Guru, he has given the order how Diksha has to be conducted in ISKCON after his disappearance. We have to follow that. You have to hear from such people. Then your faith in Guru and Krishna, your faith in Prabhupada and Krishna will enhance. If not, you can go on speaking. Bhagavatam, you can go on speaking Bhagavad Gita, you can speak from Brihad Bhagavatamrita, you can speak from Laghu Bhagavatamrita, you can speak from all the Goswami literatures, all kinds of Shastras you can quote and speak. Your faith in Guru will not go up. It will not enhance. And without that implicit faith in Guru, Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastrair, Uktastata Bhavyata Eva Sadbihi. Until one has that Sakshad Haritvena, that my Guru is as good as Krishna, which means that his instruction is final. I don't have to go around looking for Shastric reference. I don't have to go around looking for verification of the Guru's order. Guru's order is final. I have to simply follow it. If you have to develop such kind of parabhakti in the Guru, then you have to hear from people who have similar parabhakti in the Guru. Otherwise, you hear from them, gradually your faith in Prabhupada will get eroded over time. So if one instruction of Prabhupada, you can seek Shastric reference and on the basis of non-availability of Shastric reference, you can reject one instruction of Prabhupada, then that principle you can apply to all instructions. Where is the Shastric reference that we have to chant 16 rounds only? Can you give me any Shastric reference which states that we have to chant 16 rounds only? So tomorrow you can question that also, that there is no Shastric reference for chanting 16 rounds. So I can chant 12 rounds also, 15 rounds also, I can chant 20 rounds also. Why only 16? Okay, if you chant 20 rounds, if you chant more than 16 rounds, it's okay, because Prabhupada said minimum 16 rounds you can chant. But somebody, if he says, why chant 16, why not 12, why not 10, why not 1? So you can question that also, no? Because there is no Shastric reference. So like that you can go on questioning, then finally, where is faith in Krishna and Guru? It will get completely eroded. So if you want to develop your faith in Guru, yasya deve parabhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau, tasyaite gatitahi prakashante arthaha mahatmanaha. Only to such a person who has firm, unflinching faith in the Guru and Krishna's instructions, direct orders, does a person get in his heart the actual import of the Vedic scriptures revealed. Otherwise, you can externally, you can quote many Shastras and you can speak big philosophy, but it will all be in the realm of speculation. So therefore, we have to be very careful. This principle has been repeatedly enunciated in the Vedic scriptures, and it is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself and by Kapila Muni in today's verse, Sarvabhuta Samatvena Nirvairena Aprasangataha. Aprasangataha, avoiding association. We have to avoid the association of people who are not sajati asaye, those who retain within their hearts great aspirations for material advancement and sense enjoyment. We have to reject them also. And we have to reject those who don't have firm faith in the Guru also. Those who don't have para-bhakti towards Prabhupada, towards the pure devotee, towards the bona fide acharya, we have to reject them also. We cannot associate with such people. That's the full import of the word aprasangataha. Brahmacharyena, and one has to follow the path of celibacy. And maunena, one should not speak about worldly matters unnecessarily. Discussing politics, discussing sports, discussing entertainment. These all may seem harmless. What is wrong? Once I was meeting somebody, some discussion was going on. I was generally doing some small talk and just got introduced. So that person was talking to me, and then that person somehow at that time, some movie had been released. Some Tare Zameen Par or something like that. And that person started suddenly praising that movie. And he said, you watch movies? I said, no, we don't watch movies. Okay, I understand, sometimes these movies have some scenes which are not very good and all those kind of things. But Tare Zameen Par, very nice movie. All children can also see. You can also see. So you see, people think that what is the harm in this? Is after all a movie about children and all that. I mean, it's harmless, right? It is harmful for your spiritual life. So therefore, whether it is entertainment, leisure, sports, politics, whatever it is, anything unconnected to Krishna, we should not engage in hearing, talking or hearing. So that is maunena. So that does not mean that we don't speak about Krishna. Every opportunity we get, we immediately speak about Krishna. Yare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesha. We encourage everyone to chant Krishna's holy name. So mauna and brahmacharya refers to avoiding material aspirations and material engagements, whereas spiritual engagement is not forbidden. Swadharmena, and by all one's activities, baliyasa, one has to offer all one's activities to Krishna, meaning the entire results of one's actions we have to offer to Krishna. So if you see, Prabhupada being an Acharya, he has wonderfully given us a life, especially for full-time devotees, to practice all these principles which are given in the Shastras. If you look at our life, Swadharmayana Baliyasa, what is our life? Every activity that we do is centered around pleasing Guru and Krishna. Whatever we do, the result comes to Krishna. We may go, we may meet many people, we may preach to them. What is the motive? To bring them to Krishna. We may go and ask people to give donation. We collect money. Where does it go? It goes to Krishna. We go and preach to some boys and make them Krishna conscious. Whose devotees do they become? They become devotees of Krishna. So every activity that we do in Krishna consciousness, the result is going to Krishna. See how Prabhupada has designed our life. Swadharmena baliyasa, brahmacharyena maunena. And whole day we have activities where we can speak about Krishna, about spreading the mission of Krishna. So we may be sitting in the office and discussing with the accounts team, finances, and how the budgeting has to be done and stuff like that. But all of that, the result of that is for serving Krishna. So every activity that we do, we may be going to some vendor, negotiating with him, you have to reduce the price of this, that, and all those kind of things. The result is for whom? For Krishna. So Swadharmena Baliyasa. So we are offering everything to Krishna and we are not keeping silent. We are going, meeting so many people, talking to them. Maunena. We are mauna towards material sense gratification, pursuit of material development. We are not interested in that. But we are very much active in speaking to various people for the sake of Krishna. So if you see, nirvairena, and we have no enmity towards everyone. We relate with everyone equally. We go and preach to everyone. We tell everyone to chant Hare Krishna. We don't see what is your caste, which background do you belong to, are you Hindu, are you Muslim, are you Christian. We don't see all those things. Anybody is welcome. Anybody can come and chant Hare Krishna with us and they can take prasadam. We don't deny anyone. In fact, there are Muslims, Christians, people from all kinds of backgrounds who come to our temple, who chant Hare Krishna, who become devotees. Prabhupada went to the US and there he preached to whom? Not to the Hindu community. He preached to anybody who came, whether Hindu, Christian, Muslim, everybody. Prabhupada equally preached to everyone. So this is nirvairena. At the same time, aprasangataha. We may deal with so many people, but we don't become intimately associated with them. We become intimately associated with only with devotees. So, aprasangataha. Sarvabhuta samatvena. We are equal to everyone. We offer everyone the opportunity to chant Hare Krishna. We don't discriminate. Oh, you're Muslim, don't come here. Don't read Bhagavad Gita. Don't chant Hare Krishna. We don't say. Whether you are Muslim, Christian, Hindu, you are atheist, theist, whatever you are, man, woman, child, young, old, all of you, chant Hare Krishna and take all the benefit. So, if you look at this word, Sarvabhuta Samatvena Nirvairena Prasangataha Brahmacharyena Maunena Swadharmena Baliyasa. So, all these principles Prabhupada has built into our lives. So, therefore, our life as a devotee in the temple in Krishna consciousness, serving Prabhupada's mission, is filled with all the Shastric principles. So similarly, even the method of initiation which Prabhupada has given, there is no need to doubt whether it is as per Shastra or not. It is very well keeping all the Shastric principles intact, that Prabhupada is giving us directions, instructions to engage in his service in a particular way. And with that firm confidence and conviction, we follow Srila Prabhupada's instructions and the result will be that our faith and conviction in Krishna and our devotion to Krishna and Guru will constantly increase. So I'll stop here. If anybody has any question or comment, we can discuss. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की जय, विश्वगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।